So yeah, so very good evening all. I hope all of you can hear me right now. And so today, being a Sunday, first of all, thank you guys for sparing your time. Okay, so on the Sunday, then one more thing I just wanted to mention to you is that I personally received a lot of issues that you guys are kind of facing with the login, all these stuff. Okay, like lot of issues, lot of headache. And even after we kind of actually fixing the login again and again, ultimately what sort of happens is still once again when you try to log in, you're not able to log in. I don't know what is happening. So I really don't know what is the issue. And we tried our level best to fix it, but we fix or reset a password for you. Then some of you the next day when you kind of try to log in, is the same thing happening again and again. So ultimately, and then many of your friends, hi all, hi. Hi, Arun. So then one very interesting thing is that many of you guys kind of asked me, is there any way how you could do paper trading, right? So you guys have actually asked for paper trading, and one very important thing I just wanted to mention to you is many of the times we kind of actually lose track of what we are doing, or we kind of actually lose track of how we are progressing in the markets just because of the fact that you guys don't keep a trading log. So, how many of you here can tell me that you have a trading log? How many of you here kind of tell me that can promise that you have a trading log? How many of you know that? How many of you have a trading log, first of all? How many of you maintain it? How many of you update it regularly? So something like kind of keep a book where you kind of actually update each and every trade you take, what you do, etc., etc. Maybe 1 week you did. How many of you did for the first week? For the rest of the week you didn't do. Many of you, many of you wouldn't have done that. Okay, so kindly understand, if you're not doing that, please don't trade. No use of you trading, no use of staying in the market until and unless you can track what you're doing, until and unless you can measure your progress, you are kind of not going to head anywhere. So let it be trading or let it be your personal life, you won't be able to make a progress until and unless you can exactly track what you're doing, how you're progressing. So please make it compulsory that you keep a trading log. Now so some people kind of actually text me, okay, I started with this much capital. There are some people who text, okay, I started with this much capital, my capital is this much, I know, I'm pretty happy, great. There are some people who start, okay, I'm trading with this capital, I'm not able to progress. So I guess, okay, what are the kind of trades that you take? Could you share the sort of trades that you take? So they'll be like, okay, I will take the trades the next week and tell you what all I take. So why do you have to do that? The reason you're telling me that I'll take trades the next week, and I tell you, I'll tell you after taking trades the coming week, what all are the trades that I have done. The reason you mentioned that is because you really don't know what you're doing. Only if you are in a situation, you know, okay, I did this didn't work out for me. I'm doing that, that is why I'm getting the results. I'm doing this, I'm getting the results. I'm doing that, I'm not getting the results. Until and unless you know that for yourself, nobody else can help you, or never ever you can succeed. So let it be in trading, let it be in business, let it be in your studies, let it be in your profession. Until and unless you can track what you're doing, until and unless you know what is going right, what is going wrong, you can't progress. Okay, you can stay at the same place where you are, but you can't progress. So make sure that you keep a log without fail. Okay. Then due to the very same reason, what we are kind of actually doing is we thought, okay, let's kind of actually get a bit more organized. Now talking about the course dashboard, there's a lot of issues in the sense some of you have mentioned you can't log in. Some of you kind of have actually kind of requested for the like sequence, and my side being pretty much technically weak, I was struggling. So what we did is we are kind of actually developing an app where you have the videos, plus you have a facility for paper trading, and we are integrating TradingView. So I expect it to be completed in 1 month time. So TradingView integration is coming. Cost dashboard thing will be kind of out this coming week itself. So TradingView integration will be there where you can actually do virtual trades. Okay. So with equities as well as options, plus every single trade that you take, I'm kind of actually making it compulsory that you write down the log. So if you take a trade, if you have to take a trade, if you have to take a virtual trade, until and unless you write down the reason for the trade, you can't progress. Okay, so that's kind of pretty much annoying. It is going to be pretty much annoying. The app is going to be annoying in the sense, if you take a trade, you have to write down the reason. Until and unless you write down the reason, no trade is going to pass through. So at the time of virtual trading itself, don't give me congratulations. Don't give me congratulations. I'm not the one who is developing the app. It is a guy who knows the stuff, who knows how things work. He's the one who's developing. So I should congratulate him. Okay, his name is Kaushik. So, uh, so that we are doing so that we can actually make it compulsory that you keep a log. Okay. So second thing, one more thing I just wanted to mention is tracking the global markets, all the things you have at the same place. Plus, you get access to some sort of Reuters, okay, where you can actually easily see whatever is going through. So I have the APKs with me. I have the APK with me right now. And one more thing for you guys, we have Discord also in it. So that is, you don't have to keep two separate apps for Discord as well as this. So Discord is actually readily integrated in the same mobile app. Okay. Uh, Sure. So Discord is also integrated in the same mobile app so that we don't have to keep a separate mobile app for Discord. Yeah, for iPhone too also. Obviously, I also have iPhone. So for both, it is developed on this platform called Flutter. How many developers are there here? Flutter, something like that. Two platform it can work, it seems. Flutter, something like that. Okay. So yeah. So I just wanted to mention that. So I'm kind of actually going to I'll be sharing the APKs with you as soon as I get it. So just give me your feedback. Okay, what all you would like to have it on, what all features you would like to have on the app. Just give me your feedback. So if you give me your feedback, I can actually work on it. Okay. So just let me know that. Fine. So let me just move forward. And today's meeting, we are kind of going to discuss regarding pivots and Fibonacci. I personally don't use Fibonacci for intraday, but when it comes to taking some swing or positional, so you can always use Fibonacci as a confluence. So what do you mean by confluence? So something that you can use on top of something that you are already using to get some sort of an extra confidence. That is what we refer to as a confluence. Okay, so let's quickly have a look at it. You could actually use it for intraday. Okay, you could use it for intraday. So we have a lot of people like Sagar Bhatt, Ramin, uh, Rushabh, Swapnil, I don't know if he uses. Many people who are using Fibonacci, we have a lot of traders. Okay, Ritika, uh, many people are there who use this thing like Fibonacci as a confluence. It's completely up to you. In case you find it useful, you can use. So I don't personally use it for intraday. Once again, I'm mentioning because I don't think I have to use one more thing for intraday. I'm kind of pretty much satisfied with what I'm doing now. That is the reason. But if you are finding it pretty much useful, you can definitely go ahead use it. So first of all, let me just say what Fibonacci is. Okay. So all of you guys know what Fibonacci is, right? So you probably in your max class, so you probably would have actually learned about Fibonacci numbers in your max class. Okay, definitely, like most of you would have actually heard about Fibonacci numbers in your max class. So I guess I'll just take out the from the net itself the data I have. Okay, just a second. Yeah. So quickly have a look at the Fibonacci numbers mentioned over here. Just quickly have a look at the Fibonacci numbers mentioned over here. 0, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21. Definitely, maybe in max, you would have seen this in your max class. So what it basically does is it adds on the previous number 0 plus 1, 1, 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 3, 5, 5 plus 8, 13, etc. etc. So if you just Google it out, you will actually read about the mathematician, etc. etc. I did not speak about that over here. You would read about the golden ratio. Then you would kind of actually read how this golden ratio, Fibonacci, all these things are actually being obeyed in nature is nature as well. That is how these numbers are kind of actually being obeyed in nature as well. That is, you would have actually drawn this with your compass, I guess in 11th standard something. So we had an activity to draw something, some Fibonacci numbers on compass using compass and all. Okay, I forgot about that. So a lot of things regarding Fibonacci, you will actually find it on the net. Just read through. And yeah, engineering graphics, yeah, we have it. Yeah, Fibonacci, I don't remember in engineering graphics, but in school we had that, I remember. Okay. So here, what we are actually kind of looking forward to discuss is about what we refer to as Fibonacci retracement. Okay, so this basically tells us or helps us identify probable levels. Okay, this actually helps us identify probable levels between the high and low points. Between high and low points, it helps us identify some probable levels. Okay. So when I say high and low, what I'm referring to is between considerable swing high and swing low is what I personally focus upon. And we'll see some examples also. And what is kind of going to make this meeting kind of important is at this particular moment, I'm actually kind of thinking about a long side position on Reliance. Okay. It's not a swing position or this is not an intraday position that I'm going to take in Reliance, but I'm actually kind of going to add some more shares of Reliance to my portfolio. Okay, so I consider this particular point to be a good time, and I'll tell you the reasoning of the same. We will also kind of use Fibonacci along with it. Like we'll also kind of add Fibonacci on top of it and see how the Fibonacci levels are being respected. We could also use Fibonacci maybe for Nifty and maybe some other stocks that you would mention. We would see, we could check out how the Fibonacci levels are being respected or not, or what the Fibonacci is kind of trying to tell us. So the logic is pretty simple. So let's start with an example. So let's kind of assume that, so let's say that you are a student. So some of you are already still students. Let's say that you are a student and this is your house. So this is your school. So I'm keeping your school at level 0. I'm keeping your house at level 100. Okay. Now, there is this particular place and I call this as your bus stop. So I'm assuming that you travel to school by bus, just like I did. So you go to your school by bus. Okay. So this bus stop, the distance, okay, it's kind of a bit extraordinary. The distance between your school and your bus stop and the distance between your house, this is your house, distance between your house and your bus stop and the distance between your school and bus stop is kind of almost the same. So we are actually kind of taking or making an assumption that the distance between your house as well as the bus stop and the distance between your school and the bus stop is almost the same. So I'm kind of marking this to be 50%. Okay. So distance is same. So a bus stop to your house is 1 kilometer. School, the distance between the bus stop and your school is also 1 kilometer. So 50%, half the distance in between. Okay. So let's say that you are kind of starting, you are actually kind of starting from your school. Okay. And you are kind of actually starting from your school and you are taking a pit stop. So what do you mean by pit stop? A place where you stop in between, right? A place where you actually stop in between of your journey. So what is the 50% distance from your school? Like let's say you started from your school and you want to take a stop. So where do you kind of stop? Where do you actually stop? So what could be that particular point where you could kind of actually stop? So the probable answer is that, yeah, you could probably take a halt at the bus stop. You could kind of actually take a halt at the bus stop. So this is going to be the next place that you're going to visit from your school, then your bus stop. Now the next stop that you're kind of actually going to have is your home. Okay, the next point that you're kind of actually going to have is going to be your home. Now, let's say that if somebody asks your mom, okay, you started from the school and you say, okay, you're halfway. Where did you reach? You reach the bus stop. Then the next stop you have is your home. Fine. Let's talk about a different scenario. And you kind of have one more pit stop in between. That is, your school is done. So you are kind of out from your school. Now, where do you visit? So if you are a guy after school, like where do you guys used to go? You used to play football, something like that, right? So you probably would have played football or cricket, something like that with your friend. So usually we kind of do it at the school ground itself, right? So let's say that we have one more pit stop in between. and this is nothing else but our school football ground. So I'm just kind of marking this point to be a 32.8 percentage. Okay, this is the point that you have in between. Okay, so this is one particular point that we actually have in between. So this is your football ground. So Imtiaz goes to Soda Sarbat shop. So some people go to Soda Sarbat, or some people go to a football ground. Okay, whatever it may be. So let's say that this is the football ground. Then you go to the bus stop, and maybe before going to your house, you just have one more pit stop in between. So where would you kind of be stopping by? So now this could be maybe a bakery shop nearby your house. So if maybe your mom or dad kind of gives you maybe some 20 rupees or something, you probably would have bought a sip up. So you probably would have actually bought Sanjeevi's. Okay. So I'm talking about school children, Sanjeevi. Okay. So uh, so maybe you bought soda sarbat, or maybe you probably would have bought some sip up, something like that over here. Okay. So we have one more pit stop in between. So if you started, okay, if you kind of actually started from this particular point, if you kind of actually started from this particular point, then where do you actually expect to move? First to the football ground, then to the bus stop, then to the bakery, and then to your house. Okay. So first to the football ground, then to the bus stop, then to the bakery, and then to your house. So what is this actually kind of holding us? Like, what is this kind of actually kind of uh, trying to convey to us? So if you started from one location, you have a very high likelihood at halting at a particular location, right? And when it basically comes to support and resistance levels, aren't that kind of same? Aren't it kind of a bit similar? What do you feel? Yeah. So when it basically kind of comes to the logic of support and resistance levels also, the concepts are kind of more or less the same. In the sense, like the places where we actually face rejection, the places where we kind of actually uh, like is kind of a place where the price picks up or the price drops down is actually kind of uh, is what we mark on the screen, is what we kind of mark on the charts. Okay, but in the case of Fibonacci, I'll just take out my screen once. Yeah. So in the case of Fibonacci, the difference is going to be the fact that rather than we kind of actually marking the levels by ourselves. So these are the levels. So if you see the chart of Reliance, so these are some levels that I'm actually working on in the case of Reliance. Okay. So I'll tell you the reasons also I'm considering the same. So this particular point at the all-time high, I have actually considered this to be a level. I have kind of considered a level to hold at the all-time high of the stock Reliance. At the all-time high of the stock Reliance, I'm kind of considering a level. Now, coming down, I personally feel the price actually finds a support over here. At this particular point, I feel, yeah, the price actually finds a support over here. Okay, so I'm considering this to be a level. Now, in between this, I kind of consider like this kind of, rather than calling it as a level, I would consider this to be a region. So this is something that I'm considering as a good region. Okay. And currently, my personal expectations are that so I hope you have seen these levels and you probably understand the reason for these levels. This could be a resistance, which later on acted as a support. So currently, like the nearby level that I'm considering is this particular point. So when I get into the 15 minutes time frame, you kind of get a better sense of understanding. When I switch to the 15 minutes time frame, so this is what I see. So Reliance actually kind of now one thing about Reliance is if you have a look at the 1 day chart, okay. So I could kind of say that Reliance is something that has helped Nifty from crashing to its worst. Okay, so during the time of lockdown, during the time of Corona, Reliance is something that kind of acted as a savior or an angel that came in to help Nifty from kind of, what do you say, tumbling down like anything. Okay, lot of investments coming in Reliance, which naturally helped kind of give a momentum to Nifty also. Okay. However, if you see the last 2 months, okay, if you kind of actually see the last 1 to 2 months, Reliance was actually kind of staying pretty much sideways, not much of any move happening. Kind of was pretty much range bound within these levels, confined within these levels. And now at this point of time, I personally think so. You heard about the Reliance retail results? Like if I kind of actually see, there is kind of nothing much negative. Okay, so nothing much negative to be said about Reliance at this point of time. So Reliance retail results, they have done really well. Now you probably would have actually kind of be knowing about the 5G auction happening, plus uh, futures retail, all these things happening. Fine, like right now things actually kind of look good. So I'm not mentioning all the news, all these things, you already know that, but things kind of actually look good as far as rents is concerned. Now there is also a lot of things that is kind of being mentioned about the budget coming in. Okay, budget is coming in, and so right now our government is actually like I personally feel our government is actually kind of bringing a lot of policies to kind of boost the infrastructure development, as well as like I personally read that some sort of cess reduction is kind of being worked out in the automotive sector. Okay, so I'm not giving you any confirmation over here of something. Then one more very interesting thing that I heard is uh, what is it? Audi, Mercedes Benz, Lamborghini, BMW, if I'm not wrong. Okay, so these three companies have actually kind of been speaking about some reduction in luxury car tax. Car cost will go down. They kind of are kind of actually talking about some sort of reduction in luxury car tax. So some sort of request has been placed, something like that. Something I kind of actually saw. Okay, so like lot of news. So this budget is also interesting. Like budget mobile app also has come in. Lot of things. So mobile app has come in everywhere. Okay, so then if you kind of actually talk about the present situation, the vaccine. Okay, uh, so talking about the vaccine, when we kind of actually talk about the vaccine, I personally kind of think about vaccine like it's kind of actually good. So my sister is actually doing MBBS, so she kind of actually has her vaccination tomorrow. So all these factors are kind of actually considered positive. So the last 2 days, what we actually saw is market kind of actually dropped. Okay, so market kind of actually made a quick drop, but I really don't think uh, the market at this particular point of time. So let's quickly have a look at Nifty also. So at this particular point of time, I really don't think of any sort of a correction to actually happen below 14,000 at this particular stage. Okay, so once again, I'm actually telling you, I'm not giving you any investment advice or something, but my personal view is I don't expect market to kind of drop below 14,000. So I personally have sold options positions on the put side as well as on the call side. Okay, so 15,000 has been sold. February 15,500. Okay, a lot of options on the downside also I have sold. Okay, so I personally don't think that there is actually kind of going to be a lot of a negative thing that is happening at this point of time for the markets to kind of correct like anything. Okay, so keeping that in mind, I personally feel, yeah, if Reliance is capable of picking up from this point, this could actually be the time to break its present all-time highs. Okay, so this could actually be the time for Reliance, or this could actually be the sort of opportunity for Reliance to break its all-time highs if it is actually capable of picking up. Okay, so that is my personal view. That is my personal perspective. Okay, so let's kind of move ahead on the option. Yeah, I'll show you. The strangle is this. I guess I kind of show you almost every day. So this is the strangle that has been implemented. So right now it is kind of running in profit, but I'm kind of actually planning to hold on to it for the next 2 weeks also. That is I'll kind of actually wait for the budget to be out. So once the budget is out, then the IVs, I'm expecting it to crush further. So probably that is kind of going to be the time when I'll take out and exit. Okay, so these are the positions that I'm holding. Now, if Nifty is managing to fall or kind of slide below 14K, then I'll kind of have to short some futures because I also had to preserve my investment. So I'll be checking, I'm majorly checking out for shorting opportunities on Nifty these days. So till last week, it was long side opportunities. From this coming week, it will be short side opportunities. Okay. Now, let me just kind of move forward. So far, you know how to mark these levels. Okay. Now, let's kind of actually move forward. Let me actually kind of just move forward. Let's kind of see how you could actually use this along with Fibonacci. Okay, so just right click. So let's kind of actually select the Fibonacci retracement. So what you should kind of be doing is you should be kind of connecting the high point as well as the low point. So in this particular case, what I'm actually kind of looking forward to do is I'm kind of going to collect this particular high. Okay, so this looks like a good high. And when I kind of talk about the nearby lows in the case of LOWS lows, in the case of Reliance, this could be the point that I can actually watch out for. And apparently, and this particular low, you would kind of realize for yourself. So we had actually marked a resistance over here. We had also marked a support over here. So this particular high and this particular low will also actually hold good. Okay, the support and resistance that we have marked. So from those 2 points itself, we are actually extending the Fibonacci. Now let's think about an example that we have done. Okay, the schoolboy example. So you're starting from your school. So in between, where do you reach? You reach your bus stop. Now once again, if you're kind of picking up, so where do you actually kind of move up? Like next, what would be your next pit stop? So your next pit stop should be the bakery that is in between your house and the bus stop. So this could be your next pit stop. Now let's say that you are actually kind of starting from your school. The first pit stop is nothing else but your school ground. Okay. Now let me just tell you, if you actually check out for the Fibonacci points or Fibonacci levels that you have marked out over here, and you also, okay, so the Fibonacci levels that you would mark out over here would be this. The 50% marks are over here. The 38.2 marks are kind of over here. Okay. And definitely the 100% and 0% levels that you mark are also coinciding. If I kind of ask you this question, so does these Fibonacci levels has something to do with the support and resistance levels that you have marked by yourself? What do you feel? So does these Fibonacci levels kind of have something to do with the support and resistance levels that you have marked? So now what we realize is kind of more or less close by the levels that you have actually marked, and the Fibonacci extension that you have actually drawn is kind of actually sort of close by. So this kind of, what does this give you? This sort of gives you some sort of a confidence. Okay, the levels that I'm observing, it is also actually respecting the Fibonacci levels. Okay, now let's think what are the probable cases that is going to happen with Fibonacci, without Fibonacci. So let's start once again. Let's think about the probable outcomes with Fibonacci, without Fibonacci. I'm doing it in the 1 day time frame, so you can also do it in the 15-minute or the 1 hour time frame also. It is fine. But let's finish with this. Okay. So what do you expect to happen if the price is capable of bouncing, piercing above this particular level? You expect it to face a rejection. If the price is capable of piercing above this particular level on the other hand side, you can expect the price to head up to the next level, which lies over here. Now, that is what the normal support and resistance lines that we have marked by ourselves looking at the charts is kind of conveying to us. On the other hand side, once again, let's extend the Fibonacci. On the other hand side, if I just drag and drop the Fibonacci levels. Okay, if I look at these charts, what this kind of conveys to me is once again the same. So 38.2. Okay, but before explaining this, I would like to give you one more example. So let's say that you are a cricket player. Okay, so let's assume Rohan is a cricket player. Okay, Rohan is a cricket player, and he's playing. Three matches. He had 3 matches. He's going to play. So first match is over. He scored 100 runs. The next match he plays, he scores. He gets out on a duck. He scores just 0 runs. Okay. So his runs in the first match was 100. The next match it became 0. So if he's going to play his next match, how much do you expect him to score? I will show. Yes, I'll definitely show. How much do you expect? How much runs do you expect Rohan to score? So he has scored 100. He has scored 0. So you expect him to kind of actually score 50. So now let's talk about a different scenario where Rohan has scored 100. Rohan has scored 0 now. Okay. He has scored 50 also. Okay, you expect him to score 50. Now let's say that, okay, from 100, he scored 0. Now he scored 50 runs in the next match. Okay, he was scoring 100 runs. Then he got out on a duck. Now he has scored 50. What do you naturally expect, Rohan? From 0, he has picked up till 50. Now how do you expect Rohan to perform? Predicting will not help. Yes, you are right. Don't expect him to perform 100. Okay, so now the next match runs is kind of going to be decisive. So first match Rohan had scored 100. Then the next match he scored 0. Then he scored 50. Let's say that the next match he scored something like a 55. He started from 100. He went down to 0. From 0 he picked up to 50. Then the next match he kind of scored 55. So naturally, like, how much do you expect him to perform now? You kind of actually think, okay, from 100, he kind of came down to 0. From 0, he rebounded back to 50. Now he is at 55. So that means that, okay, Rohan is a good player. Just because he scored one duck, that doesn't mean he's a bad player. So now from 55, you kind of actually expect him to go to 60, 65, 70, and further on upside, right? So same way, let's think about stocks in terms of Fibonacci numbers. Okay, let's actually interpret stocks in terms of Fibonacci. Something that was over here, which I consider to be 100%, it came down to 0%. Now it has retraced or rebounded back from the 0% to half the distance. It has managed to retrace back to half the distance. Okay, so now what are the probabilities that we have? From 100%, it has come down to 0. From 0, it has actually managed to rebound to half the distance in between 100 and 0. So now what are the possibilities that we have? So two possibilities. One possibility is that, okay, the price, but after retracing this much, Rohan's example itself, 100 he scored, next match he scored 0. Next match he scored 50. Then the match after that he's scoring 40. So what do you expect Rohan to do in the next match? You probably expect Rohan to underperform now. 50 to 40, you kind of expect him to score maybe a 35-30, right? So same way, let's say that the price retraced back to 50. From 50, it has kind of come down to 38.2%. From 50, it has retraced back to 38.2%. Now, two possibilities are there. One possibility is where the price further drops below 38.2, then I could kind of actually expect the price to fall down till which level? Currently, it is at 38.2. I could actually expect the price to kind of come down to almost the 0 levels, or which is what we have earlier marked as a support level by ourselves. So we could actually kind of expect the price to retrace back to the support level that we had actually marked by ourselves earlier. One more thing that we are using as a confluence over here is price when in terms of Fibonacci retracement, I'll take all your doubts, guys. Let me just finish explaining. I'll take all your questions towards the end. Okay. So once it is done with retracing from the 100% marks to the 0%, it retraced back to the 50% mark. From there, it dropped down further. And from 38.2, now it is actually kind of looking forward to come down to the next level. But what is my personal perspective of Reliance? So what is my personal perspective of Reliance at this point of time? Now, one more reason, like, okay, so if you are actually kind of checking out for a short on Reliance, one more thing, when it comes to the swing position, or when it can kind of comes, like if you're shorting the futures also, what is kind of actually going to happen is you have a clearly defined risk reward ratio also over here, where you risk. So if you are kind of actually looking forward for a short, so what pattern, so what price action pattern is that you see over here? So what price action pattern is that you see over here? So what sort of a price action pattern are we seeing over here? Okay. Just give me a second. Just give me a second. I'll just take out my charger. Just a second. Something is wrong. Just a second. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So basically, the kind of pattern that we are seeing. Okay. So the kind of pattern that we are kind of actually seeing over here is basically what we refer to as a bearish engulfing. Okay. So this is a bearish engulfing that we see over here, with a rejection kind of coming in over here with a bearish candle. We kind of actually see a bearish engulfing. So based upon a classical price action analysis, if you see something as this, so an ideal entry point, okay, so an ideal entry point for you to actually take a trade would be to kind of wait for one more candle to close beneath this level. Let's say that we get one more bearish candle like this. Okay, let's see what happens tomorrow. So let's actually see, we kind of get one bearish candle like this, which is kind of closing beneath this level. So this is kind of, we can refer this to be a follow-up candle. The follow-up candle actually closing below this level, somewhat like this, and the price managed to come below the 38.2 levels. So can't you go for a short over here, keeping a stop loss of this much, expecting the price to retrace back to the 0 levels? Can you do that? You can. Okay, it makes sense. Why? Because your risk is defined, your reward looks good, and we also know the fact that this was actually acting as a support earlier. So we also realize the fact that this was kind of acting as a support earlier. Okay, so without Fibonacci also, now let me just quickly delete Fibonacci. So without Fibonacci also, I can assure you that if you understand what bearish engulfing is, if you kind of understand, okay, this is actually a rejection coming in, without doing Fibonacci extension also, if you have some bearish candle like this, the price action is actually telling you a probable downside move is going to happen, and this could be the level that you probably will be watching out, since this is the nearby level. But if you use Fibonacci, this is actually kind of probably going to give you some extra confidence, or what we refer to as a confluence. Okay, so you can use it as a confluence along with the normal support and resistance levels that you mark for some sort of extra confirmation. Okay, but I personally, at this point of time, I am more interested on taking a long side position on Reliance. Okay, okay. So I personally see, taking this tool is very easy. Click on this button. Click on this button. Okay, and if you're using TradingView, you can actually search for Fibonacci. Okay, if you're using Zerodha, you can actually just click over here. Okay, you can actually just click over here, and then take a trade. So then you can just click over here, just click at the top, click at the bottom, drag and drop, as simple as that. Okay, I personally, considering the fundamentals of Reliance at this particular point of time, I am interested only on the longs. So should I be taking a short? Sanjeev, I have a doubt. The chart class closed below 38.2, and what does it signify? Okay, so if you ask me, has it closed below it? The answer is no. Currently, the price is exactly at 38.2. Okay, so currently, the price is actually exactly at 38.2, or just above, is not below. It's kind of hit 50, came down to 38.2. Okay, so I personally think, yeah. So I personally think this could be the time for Reliance to take off. So as my friend, as our friend Shiva Kumaran has basically mentioned, the price has been earlier. The price was kind of finding a support over here. The price was actually, as he mentioned, price is actually kind of trading within a box, and this could be the time for Reliance to take above these levels and further pick up. Okay. So now my quick question for you guys would be, in case Reliance, let's say Reliance is managing to pick up, where could be my ideal entry point? So where could I kind of take an ideal entry if Reliance is actually managing to pick up? Okay, so we are getting different answers. So one answer is 50, the other answer is 61.8%. Okay, so one answer is 50, the other answer is 61.8%. Okay, I'll tell you. Okay, so 50% line lies over here, and 61.8%, 61.8% line lies over here. And one more thing, so 61.8% line lies over here. One more very important point that I want you guys to kind of note is this third 61.8 line and the other line, just the line just above this, where I had personally marked the level earlier, are kind of close by. Okay, so even though the 61.8 level is here, I personally always trade on my personal levels. So I'll kind of consider this. Not see, these are very close also. That is another thing. The lines are pretty close by. Okay, so lines are kind of actually pretty close by. So I personally would be kind of considering this, the line that I have personally marked, okay, for considering as an opportunity. So if I want to shift it down a bit more, yeah, so that is also possible. It's kind of pretty much close by, right? So we can actually just stick with the lines that I personally will stick with the lines that I personally have marked. But if you personally find the Fibonacci levels to be more comfortable, yeah, you can go ahead with that. I'll tell you the reasoning too. Okay. If you don't mind, what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the lines that I have marked personally, so that the charts are a bit more clear. I'll just kind of delete off all the lines that I have marked. Okay. So what we kind of actually observe over here. Okay. So what we actually kind of observe over here is Reliance tested this 50% retracement marks. Once again, I'm mentioning we had marked a horizontal support line without any Fibonacci also here. Then now it is at the 38.2 marks. If price is capable of piercing above the 50% lines, I'll be very much eager. I'll be actually watching it out. Okay. Now, the reason I'm not planning for a position once the price manages to move above 50% is due to the fact that if I had to go for a long over here, okay, I would have to keep a stop loss somewhere over here, and just reaching 50%, just picking up a bit above 50% doesn't excite me much. Rather, okay, guys, like my personal entry in Reliance, my last entry in Reliance was at 2016 rupees average price. My last entry. Okay, the previous entry I took in Reliance was at 2016 rupees. So, if I'm to take an entry, if I'm to take a fresh position in Reliance, I would actually consider a breakout from these particular retracement levels. That is, if price manages to pick up above 61.8%, I personally would say, yeah, if the price picks up or pierces above this particular level, 61.8 to 100% could be the next possible move? Okay, I would actually say 61.8 to 100 percentage could actually be the next possible move. Okay, that is how this is the move. Okay, so this distance in between would be some another some 61.8 minus 100, uh, 38.2, right? So this move would be a 38.2 percentage move in between these region. Now, if I had to keep a stop loss, now you would be, now some of you would be kind of having a methodology where you keep a stop loss. Okay, you keep a stop loss at 50% retracement level. Some of you would actually keep a stop loss at 38.2 retracement level. Okay, so I personally would be actually checking out for price action. It's not 50% or 38.2. So let's say that next candle itself is actually closing above the level. Sorry, next candle is like this. The candle after this is like this. I probably would keep a stop loss maybe over here. Okay. So it's basically not the 38.2 percentage, but what the price action would kind of be telling me in the 1 day time frame is what I would kind of actually check for in order to keep a stop loss. Okay. So if you kind of, now some of you would be like, okay, can I keep the 50 percentage marks to be my stop loss? Okay. That is if the price is picking up above this. And if the price picks up above this, then it manages to fall down. You probably understand your view goes down. So there could be some who keep their stop loss over here. Okay. So, but rather I personally would actually kind of stick to following the price action, like what the candles would say. So depending on the candles, I would kind of prefer keeping a stop loss. So if the next candle itself is actually kind of managing to pick up. So let's say that the next candle itself is actually kind of giving a closing above this. I probably would have to keep a stop loss over here. Okay. I would actually have to keep a stop loss over there if the next candle itself is actually managing to close above the particular level. Now, even if I had to keep a stop loss of this much, still my risk reward would actually be something like a 1:1.5. Okay. So my risk reward would be still be like a 1:1.5, and the stop loss is actually pretty much wide, and the stop loss level would be kind of actually uh, pretty much good. Now, our friend Mayank is basically mentioning about the probable rejection that could actually come in at the 90 percentage marks. Yeah, you are right. But see, what I could tell about Reliance is if Reliance is kind of let loose, right, it'll kind of pick up like anything. So it is not just this 100 marks, it can even pick up further to form a new all time high if things are pretty much favorable. Now, my friend Danush is asking why not the 50 percentage? Okay. Uh, Now, Dhanush, the thing is simple. Price just crossing above the 50 percentage. If the price just crosses the 50%, something that crosses 50 percentage or something that crosses 61.8 percentage, which has higher chances of reaching 100 percentage. Okay, my question to you is as simple as this. As the price crosses above 50 percentage or as the price crosses above 61.8 percentage, the price has more chances of reaching 100 percentage. The answer is obvious. Once the price reaches 61.8, we could have more expectation of the price to kind of move up to 100%. Then one more reason is there. Can someone answer? So I told you I'm using Fibonacci as a confluence. That is on top of something that we are analyzing, we use Fibonacci. So Fibonacci is not the first thing that we are analyzing. One more answer is there, or that is the actual answer. Can you please tell me what that is? No, no, no. Yes, Rohan, that's great. Okay. So see, why did we use Fibonacci? See, first of all, we had actually kind of marked or we kind of had identified, so which is the key level over here? Like if I am to kind of mark a key level over here, which is that particular key level? So this is a key level that we are marking, right? So this is the key level that we have been marking, right? So if I didn't teach you or if we haven't discussed anything about Fibonacci at this point of time, what could be the level that we would be watching or to take a long side position on Reliance? Would it be this or would it be this? The question is as simple as that. Would it be this or would it be this that you would actually be considering to take a long overnight position on Reliance, which would be that level? So it definitely would be this particular level. So which was earlier acting as a resistance level and later on it started to act as a support. So as soon as this particular level is kind of getting taken off, I would think about initiating a long side, expecting the price to head to the next level, which lies over here, right? So definitely this particular level is going to be the key level that we are actually kind of going to watch. And when this particular level that we have marked with by ourselves, pure support and resistance levels, and oh my god, okay, so that level that we have marked by ourselves, as well as the Fibonacci levels that we actually kind of got or understood by doing a Fibonacci retracement extension. Once we understand, okay, these two things are kind of coinciding, it is actually giving us a more confirmation. Okay, now our friend Vivek is asking a very brilliant question. If there is a huge gap up, would you still go long? Okay, the answer is, let's say there is a huge gap up occurring something like this. Okay, so what could we do? If there is kind of a huge gap up like this occurring, so what could you do? So what we could do is, if there is a huge gap up opening, we could actually wait for a retracement. Okay, and if a gap up is actually happening, we could kind of actually maybe wait for a retracement or a gap filling move and then check out for an entry. Okay, that would be the case. Now see, if there is a huge gap up happening, then I personally wouldn't take a trade. The reason is this is not going to be the first time I'm going to add positions in Reliance. Okay, this is not going to be the first time I'm going to enter Reliance for long term. Already have some positions. If there's a huge gap up, then I possibly won't be doing anything. Okay, so I'll just kind of, okay, the already existing holdings are there, let it be. But if I get a good chance like this, I would think about taking a swing. Okay, here there could be possibilities gap font fill. Okay, okay. So just tell me, out of these days that you say, how many times did we kind of have the gap kind of getting filled in Reliance? Gap won't fill. Like how many times did we have gap not getting filled in Reliance? Did the gap get filled? Yes. Did the gap get filled? Yes. Did the gap get filled? Yes. Did the gap get filled? So a gap down, a gap up. Okay. So what is this? Is the gap getting filled? Is this negative side gap getting filled? Yes, runaway gap. So here we sort of didn't have any gap filling happening, but apart from that, okay, but this downside gap, if you kind of ask me, is this getting filled? The answer is yes. The price kind of actually picked up, got filled, but here we sort of have a runaway gap. And apart from that, is there any other situation where we don't have a gap getting filled? So if there is kind of no need to chase the market. Okay. If you are thinking about long-term investing, it is not or never possible to time the market. All we could do is stay systematic, kind of invest in regular intervals into the market. That's what we can do. Now, when it kind of comes to trading opportunity, this is not a last day the markets are open. Every day will be getting a different opportunities, right? So, see, something that I regret at this particular point of time is I was not capable of adding any positions in Reliance when the price reached the 1870, 1880 levels and all. I personally was not able to add any positions. So that would have actually kind of helped me average down a bit more. Okay. So because like I took some good positions at 2016. So all those things. So it's kind of not possible to time the market. So all we could do is we could check out for setups like this. Now, if market is capable of picking up above these, okay, I guess I by mistake I dragged on the Fibonacci. So if market is capable of picking above this particular level, the first probable target is this, but that's not the end. I personally feel if Reliance is actually able to test its all-time high, and definitely it won't just pick up like that, right? Some good things should be there in house. If Reliance is capable of testing this all-time high, I personally think, yeah, it'll actually kind of be capable of giving a further upside move again. Okay, so that is what I'm personally expecting. So that is the thing with Reliance. I showed you things on the 1 day time frame. So what we have done over here, so if you quickly infer over here, what we have basically done is we have just connected a high, we have just kind of connected a low point, we just extended the Fibonacci retracement lines and found out the probable points of rejections. Okay, so same thing I'll just show you with Nifty. So let's have a look at Nifty. So this is the 1 day time frame. Okay, once again, this is the 1 day time frame. Let's quickly do a Fibonacci retracement. Okay, without doing a Fibonacci retracement, these are the levels that I was watching out. So first of all, yeah, the all-time high. Okay, and the price could definitely find a support over here. This particular low, the price could definitely find a support over here. And the next probable level would actually look somewhere over here. The next probable level could actually be over here at this particular, what is this called? What is this, guys? Fibonacci extension will kind of help you figure out probable target stop loss. Sanjeevi, I personally don't use it. Okay, so it's best that I don't comment on it. Okay, so in the normal Fibonacci, like when we were kind of just connecting 2 points. Okay, since you asked me, I should say, right? Okay, see, normal Fibonacci, how do we drag and drop? We just connect point A and point B. Okay, we kind of look to determine some points in between. When it kind of comes to Fibonacci extension, what you're kind of actually doing is you'll be connecting the high, low, the high like this, and where the current price is. Okay, so that also you will actually extend and connect C. So this will actually give you some points. Okay, this could be target 1, target 2, but I'm not a big fan of this. Like, I really don't know anyone who is using it at this point of time. Okay, so because there could be many, I don't know anyone who uses it at this point of time. So it's best that I don't comment about something I don't know. Okay, so in Nifty, like these could be the levels. Okay, so if I check over here, okay, then one more thing, guys, for intraday trading, I personally don't use Fibonacci. For intraday, like I have not been using Fibonacci, or not, I'm personally not using Fibonacci. The reason of that is due to the fact that I'm personally kind of fine with the levels that I'm marking. So so definitely, like if at any point of time I'm feeling some sort of a confusion, I can use Fibonacci as a confluence. Definitely, Chirag, you can do that. At this point of time, for intraday, I'm not using, but for like swing and all, yeah, this looks really good. Fibonacci doesn't consider volume. No, Fibonacci just takes into consideration numbers. Now, talking about Nifty 1 day time frame, if I have a look over here, so I consider this to be a level. I consider this to be a level, that is the 14,200 marks. Now the level beneath this kind of could be this 13,800, 13,700, 13,800 marks. So these could be the levels. Now I'll just show you the option. Okay, I guess I already showed you. Okay, so these are the strangle that this is the strangle that I have actually implemented. Okay, so this is the risk per set, this is the reward per set. Okay, so currently the price is actually over here. So my personal thing, like good for me, is that market picks up a bit. Okay, picks up a bit, settles somewhere over here itself. So by the end of the month, so I will be holding this position most probably for another 2 weeks. Okay, if things are fine, well and good. But at any particular point of time, I kind of take a loss that is kind of equivalent to maybe 3 or 4% of my capital. I will square off all my positions. Okay. Uh, okay. So thing is, one more problem, like when you are using Fibonacci in intraday. Okay. One more thing is, you probably get confused, right? So that is Shiva's question. Okay, I kind of actually get confused when I mark Fibonacci levels for intraday. Now let me tell you, for intraday, the easiest methodology for you to take is, so far for that particular day, you consider just the high and low price points. So whatever is the high and low price points for the day till then, you consider. Okay. So because selecting the swing high and swing low is naturally going to be the place where you're going to face confusion. So if this is the swing high and this is the swing low, so if I had to mark a Fibonacci extension over here, so what I would kind of have to do would be something like this. I would kind of have to connect the high. I would have to extend it towards the low. And so this would be the way that I would have to mark. So currently what I see is 100% marks, 0. This is also a level. So price has tested almost the 50% levels, come down. Now, okay. So now we have some sort of like a bearish price action forming here also. Like, okay. So what do we call this pattern as? What do you kind of actually call this as? So this is what you kind of actually call as a bearish Harami, bearish inside bar. Okay, Harami pattern, bearish Harami, something, whatever you call it. Ultimately, the logic is simple. Like this is a bearish price action. It is kind of almost happening at the 50% retracement levels. And again, what happened? The price kind of managed to kind of come down till here. So next, we can actually expect it to come down till here if this move is continued. Now let's say that the price manages to pick up above this particular level, kind of comes to the 61.8% marks. Then where could you expect the price to move? So then what you could actually kind of expect the price to move is you could actually expect the price to kind of actually pick up to the 100% mark. So you could use this for intraday also, but I personally don't use it. Okay, now without using this, let me just show you how this would look like. Okay, so let me just delete this first of all. Now, is it a tough job for me to mark a level over here? Is it kind of going to be a tough job for me to mark a horizontal level over here? So if I was kind of not using a Fibonacci, like a horizontal line, I would have actually marked in this particular scenario would be something like this. I would have actually marked a level like this. Now, if the price kind of managed to give a breakout above this particular point and maybe some sort of a retest, I would have gone for a long, considering an entry something like this, keeping my stop loss something like this. Okay, so Fibonacci is something else that you can use if it is actually suiting you. Okay, if it is actually kind of suiting you, if you are feeling very much comfortable with it, if you feel okay, this is actually helping me. One very good thing about Fibonacci that I like is nothing else but the fact that do you know this thing called as copy paper or what do you say, scratching paper, something like that? So you probably would have done during your childhood, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so one picture you keep at the bottom. Okay, one picture. Let's say that I have the picture of a flower, tracing paper. I forgot the name. Yeah, tracing paper. Okay, so on top of this, you keep another paper. So we call that as a tracing paper. So you can actually see a little bit of the flower front. Then what you'll do is you'll just kind of draw over here on top of it, right? You'll kind of actually draw over here, and ultimately at the end you'll get a very beautiful flower. You'll get a very beautiful car's picture. You'll kind of get a very beautiful house picture. Then you can actually, yeah, everyone becomes a great artist. So at times you will kind of tap yourself, saying that okay, you're a great artist. So all this kind of extremely complicated, yeah, Indian map, yeah, exactly. It was for Indian map during geography that we used to do all this stuff. I remember, yeah, marking the states and all. Nowhere else. How else you can do? We used to GT in architecture. Yeah. Oh, I just kind of recollected that now. We used to do that for Indian map. Exactly. Else we can't do it, right? The same way, one very good thing talking about what we call as Fibonacci is nothing else but the fact that since Fibonacci inbuilt actually has these retracement levels, so when you are marking levels by yourself and you also have a cross check with these Fibonacci levels, it'll give you more confidence. Okay, then one more thing is if you didn't mark these levels and let's say that you haven't marked any levels at all. So you haven't marked any levels at all on the chart. Okay, then what you're kind of actually going to do is you're just going to extend the Fibonacci lines from the high and low. You just extend it. Now when you look, now when I look over here, okay, I see, okay, the price is actually facing rejection over here. So this particular line is coinciding with the 50% mark. The price is facing rejection over here. This is kind of actually coinciding with the 50% mark once again. So next what I'll do, so I can say, okay, now forget about Fibonacci. Let me just delete Fibonacci. Now, once you have actually so on Fibonacci, you kind of, if you're kind of completely new, if you're kind of completely fresh to the market, maybe this will actually help you like strike faster. Okay, this is actually a level. This will actually help you strike that, okay, this is a level. It'll kind of help you strike in your mind much faster, right? So that's it about Fibonacci. Now, if you kind of ask me, is Fibonacci magical? The answer is yes. Fibonacci is kind of some magical number, something like that. You see it in nature, you see it in your human body, etc., etc. We see Fibonacci everywhere. But if you kind of ask me, isn't it Fibonacci kind of pretty much usual? I would say yes. That is also yes. Okay, I'll tell you why. See, I'm kind of dividing this 0 to 100 into two parts first. I'm kind of dividing 0 to 100 into two parts. So one Fibonacci line like 50% mark is here itself. Then one line I'm kind of actually marking somewhere over here, 61.8%. One line I'm kind of actually marking over here, 38.2%. Now there could be n number of cases where Fibonacci is failing. Okay, there could be n number of cases. So we were talking about some flowers, but hundreds of different varieties of flowers are there. Maybe most of the flowers are, many flowers are not obeying Fibonacci numbers. So lot of scenarios could be there. Many cases would be there. It is failing. Okay. However, like Fibonacci is actually really favorite. People find Fibonacci favorable. So after explaining this much, can someone tell what is the basic logic behind it? Or how do people kind of find it useful? What could be the major reason? Okay, definitely, yeah. Many a times we see, okay, Fibonacci is beautifully respected on the charts. Many a times, like most of the times I could say, golden ratio. Yeah, golden ratio is just a number. But apart from that, what could be the logic of Fibonacci? Support and resistance, you mark it by yourself. But what could be the ultimate logic, or why would people kind of love using Fibonacci? Some other point could be there. Retest levels, sequence, something apart from that. Okay, something apart from that, retracement. Okay, any work which is done about, okay, two things are there. So first of all, this is kind of actually a bit more easier to mark the high level, high point, low point. You just extend it. You kind of find some levels in between. Then one more thing is that, one more thing about Fibonacci is that you can easily like check out for levels. Okay, I told you, okay, I'm checking out for a long over here above 61.8. Now here, like I know, okay, if I keep my just my stop loss a bit below this, still my risk reward would be pretty much satisfied, right? It gives levels and it kind of helps us deduce to some favorable risk reward ratios, right? So can you use it alone? Can you actually be using it completely alone? That is just Fibonacci use. Can you use it that way? So if you ask me, like, should you be using Fibonacci alone? I would say no. But can you use Fibonacci as a confluence to your existing support and resistance levels that you're observing? You're tracking the global market sentiment. You're tracking the Indian index. Can I use Fibonacci along with it? Yeah, definitely you can use. Okay. Now, maybe let's talk about a scenario that based upon price action, I went for a long position somewhere over here. Something like this, I went for a long position. Okay, just a second, one more better example. Let's say I went for a long position somewhere over here like this. Then many times, if you are just starting off, you'll be feeling, okay, is my stop loss right? Is this the place I should be keeping my stop loss? I went for a long position on this breakout, keeping my stop loss, let's say over here. Is my stop loss right? All these things. Now, maybe if you're completely new to the markets, you would be having that worry. But if you have extended the Fibonacci and check, okay, you see, okay, this is below the 38.2% retracement mark. Okay, that means if the price is actually falling below the 38.2, there is a very high likelihood the price can actually go to the 0% mark, and my view definitely goes on. So yeah, my way of keeping stop loss is also right. So that can actually help you get some sort of a confidence in whatever trade that you take. Now, when you get lucky, this is not that it is the price is not just going to head up to 100. Rather, it will actually kind of head up further than 100, maybe to 120, maybe to 130, maybe to 140, and you get lucky. Okay, so with just a very limited risk, you capture a big move. So if you ask me, can I take these moves just with normal S&R? Yeah, you can do. You can use Fibonacci as a confluence if you need, if you feel like. Okay. For Fibonacci, do we have to draw the chart from the highest wick to the lowest wick? If you draw it from the lowest wick to the highest wick, it's going to be the same, my friend. Okay. So what is 100 minus 61.8? And what is 100 minus 38.2? So you would realize, okay, so if you have just realized this distance and 0 to 38.2. So this distance is 38.2%. Oh my God, I just calculated it once. This is 38.2%. This is also 38.2%. Right. Now what is 50 minus 38.2? Or what is 61.8 minus 50.50? This is nothing else but how much percentage? 11.8. Right. So this was kind of equidistant. If you didn't realize that. So if you drag from top to bottom, if you drag from bottom to top, it is all equidistant. But the general practice is where you drag from 100% to 0. Else, only different, if you do the other way around, only difference is that the 0 will be at the top and 100 will be at the bottom. Okay, rest all are same. Only difference will be 0 will be at top and 100 will be at bottom. Rest all will be the same. Okay. So that is actually one good thing. So always, okay, so let it be this thing, let it be Fibonacci, let it be whatever you're doing. Always keep or set a stop loss in such a manner that you understand, okay, your view has gone wrong at this particular point of time. Always respect what the correct market, always respect the market structure in the like larger time frame. Think before taking a trade. Understand, ask yourself this question again and again, why you're taking this trade. That was like, there is this like some moral stories there that before we speak something, just think, okay, what we are going to speak is right or wrong. Same way, before you take a trade, think why you're taking the trade. Okay, that's it. How pivot indicators keep aside for some time. What I feel, if we get a good rejection at 50%, it is trend continuation. If it breaks, it is a confirmation on trend reversal. If you get a good rejection 50%, it is a trend continuation, and if it breaks, it's a confirmation on trend reversal. Is it the other way around that you wanted to convey, Shivakumar? Like, is it basically the other way around that you wanted to convey? Did you type it by mistake? Can you show drawing Fibonacci Nifty 50? It is confusing. Yeah, sure, I'll show. Yeah, so Nitish, like, you are doing some great progress. Okay. Nitish Kumar is actually, like, I appreciate that. Like your pace is pretty much good. So, like, I guess you're full time into trading now. Okay, so if I want to mark something on Nifty 50, okay. Yeah. Okay, in case, yes, you're right. That's great. Okay, so let's kind of do this. Okay, let's kind of take this. Okay, so where could be a swing high and swing low that I can extend? So can I consider this to be a swing high? and can I kind of extend this to be a swing low? So if I could just connect this, I could actually extend it till this point to get some Fibonacci levels. Now your doubt would be, can't I kind of actually mark these levels? So that probably could be a question. Can I kind of mark these levels? But this looks like pretty much close. You're right, Shiva. This could be pretty much close. And this could be something that we can actually expect or watch out for. Okay, so the 50% retracement marks looks somewhere almost at the 14,000. 61.8 is like 14,134. Okay, uh, but I'm not at this point of time. I'm not at this point of time. Like I'm not kind of pretty much convinced with this Fibonacci. So these are the levels that I'm kind of actually looking out for: 14,200, followed by 13,800. Okay. So let's see if this is actually coinciding with Fibonacci levels. So we see that, yeah, 38.2. Okay, yeah. So we kind of actually see that this particular level, 38.2 marks, and this particular level that we have actually marked over here are coinciding. So you also see that. Talking about this level and this level is kind of a bit far away. It will be some, I guess, some 100 points or something. Yeah, 14,135, 14,200, like 100 points difference is there. Okay. For intraday, see whatever time frame chart you follow, in that itself you can extend Fibonacci. Okay, I highly recommend you checking it out at least in the 5 minutes. Okay, if possible in the 15 minutes, but many times like 15 minutes we don't see any thing, then check in the 5 minutes. Okay, then okay, you were asking if I draw it backwards. That is what I said. If you draw it backwards, you first keep your cursor over here. You extend it to the top. Okay, earlier if I had 100 at the top, now I have 100 at the bottom. Earlier if I had 38.2 over here, I have 61.8 over here, 50, 38.2. Okay, same thing. That is what I told you, my friend. Distance is all equal. Okay, isn't it an mTOR formation? Yeah, so right now this is kind of actually looking like an M, but so I wish Nifty kind of stays sideways for some time. Okay. So when you are actually taking a photo, so you have shorted, okay, I'll just tell the scenario. You have shorted Nifty futures at 14,400.
Yeah, correct,
Your
sir.
appetite per lot is 17K. Now
Yes, sir.
you want to actually hedge your position. So that is what you
Yes.
are actually kind of thinking about. Okay. So
Yeah.
you told me your risk appetite is 200 points. 200 points is the risk appetite that you would like to take for this month, right?
Right, sir.
So now, so two ways you could do. So one way would be actually kind of, so if you had to keep a stop loss on the futures itself,
Yes, sir.
as we have mentioned earlier, you have a 200 point stop loss. So I guess
Yeah.
my
Sir,
also
I
mentioned.
just want to clarify two things. I just wanted to have a quick stop loss because SGX has shown a bullish moment, right?
Mhm.
And because of that, I would not personally want to go for 14,600 as a stop loss,
Okay.
right, sir? If the Nifty SGX, since US market and everything is down, I thought it would be SGX also would be down, but
Okay.
now it has made me worried. So should I change my stop loss? Is one thing that I've been meaning
Okay.
to
So
ask.
you have some like you have some like profits right now at the moment, right?
Yes, sir. As you correctly said,
Mhm.
that around 2,000 per lot right now I'm getting.
Yeah. So around 2K per lot profits you have at this particular
Yes.
point of
And
time.
sir, I have been shorting on the basis of spot levels, not on the basis of futures. Yeah, I've shorted futures, but
Yeah.
on the level of spots.
Okay. So see, is your view still the same 13,800?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then two things that you could do. So
Yes,
we actually check out the 14K put. Okay. So
right,
if we kind of actually check out the 14K put, we realize that what do you say? The premium is kind of around 33 rupee, right?
right, sir.
For this
Right,
kind of this coming monthly expiry.
sir.
So the
Right,
premium that is kind of trading at us 33 rupee. So if you're
right, sir.
kind of taking three lots, okay,
Okay.
if you kind of actually manage to take three lots,
Right.
If they expire worthless, you will lose 90 rupee. Okay.
Right.
But let's say your view goes right, market expires at 13,800.
Right, sir.
You would actually gain 200 into 3, that is 600 points by risking
True,
90
sir.
points.
Right, sir.
Okay. So since since the kind of fall that you're expecting at this particular point of time is
Yes, sir.
almost 400 points,
Right, sir.
right? Not 400, actually 700 points, right?
Kind of. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So the kind of fall that you're expecting is 700 points and your risk
Mm.
is kind of 200 points. This would be favorable. If you are still with the same view, you can actually buy these out of the money options expecting market to drop down. And if market comes down as per your view to 13,800, the intrinsic value will be 200 and you
Right.
will your maximum loss is actually going to be
30 rupees.
33 rupees per lot.
Yes, sir.
Risk reward will be favorable in this
No,
case.
but that would be like the same thing that I have already shorted and I'm again buying a put. So that would be a hedge, right? So it's fine. I don't
That
want
won't be a
to.
hedge. You will be having to exit the futures that you have shorted
Okay.
and you will
Okay.
be having to take this position.
All right. Sir, can I ask you one
Yeah.
more question? Like, can
Yeah.
I go for like 14,300 one lot, 14,250 one lot, 14,200 one lot until 14,000 I get 1,111 lot?
14,200 one lot for you can do that. You can.
Yes.
That also you can do in such a manner that so 14,200 you can go one lot.
Yes.
Then next you can go for 1400, you can go for a lot. Then you can maybe go for a 13,900 also, one more lot. So
Well,
make sure that in this way, like you will actually be decreasing your maximum risk also. So you told me
right,
you
sir.
have a risk appetite of 200 points.
Right,
If you
sir.
do this, like you probably will be able to bring down your risk appetite to 100 points.
Right, sir.
So you'll be buying naked puts, but
Right,
the
sir.
thing is, market has to fall for you to kind of actually be okay. I'll just show you the payoff of that also. So
Yes, sir.
we have a look over here. So
Right,
this
sir.
is one scenario. Let's talk about the other scenario where you are buying the options, right? So
Right.
8 January, so you're kind of actually buying the 14,000 put.
Right, sir.
You would be buying the 13,900 put.
Okay. Since Singapore Nifty has changed the stance, would it be good to go for below 14,000 puts?
Uh, okay, so your view is market is going to fall down below 13,800, right?
Yeah, my view is that, but since SGX got me worried, that's why I wanted you to tell me
Hmm.
that if market gap ups and it crosses certain level, then
Okay,
I should use a stop loss. Yeah, I do have a 50,000
risk
appetite.
appetite.
Risk appetite is fine, but
Hmm.
then I don't want to go vague if Nifty is giving gap up and then not filling the gap,
Hmm.
right? Then in such case, what should I do? What
Yeah.
stop loss should I use so that was one question, but as you said, the
Hmm.
put buying would be much risk rewarding, so I
Yeah.
can go for that as well.
You see,
In such case, I would
hmm.
also like to ask,
Hmm.
well, let's say I'm buying the puts of the strike prices you're telling me,
Okay.
but at what price should I exit and then go for puts? For example, let's say 915, the gap up happens at around 100 points up,
Sure.
right?
So Vivek, I'll tell you. See, my personal perspective is that a market is going to pick up.
Right, sir.
So my personal thing is that, like, I personally feel okay if market is kind of capable of dropping below 14,200 marks. So
Right.
I personally feel that could be the time when it is kind of actually going to enter into the bear territory. So
True,
until
sir.
and unless it is actually above 14,200 marks, I consider it to be the bull territory itself. Some sort
All
of a
right.
small retracement happening. Okay.
Right, sir.
So only once market drops below 14,200, I personally expect market to actually make a drop or make a plunge.
All right.
So if that is the case, as I mentioned, I'll see. I personally have put options also solved. So I'll kind
Right,
of
sir.
actually have to short futures as you probably have done. I
Right,
would be
sir.
happy to do that. But
Right, sir.
so now, see your personal thing. Let me tell you something. So if market is actually undergoing a gap up, okay. So
Right.
let's say some good thing and market is actually kind of undergoing pretty much of a good gap up opening. then
Right.
what is kind of actually going to happen is that this futures will actually be running into some extended losses, right?
For sure. Right,
Yeah.
sir.
So better than that, since this like the strikes and your view is actually kind of pretty much out of the money, like too much out.
Right. Right.
So buying options would be maximum profitable. Why? Because your risk is going to be very negligible. So where
True,
you
sir.
are risking some 50k rupee. So here you
Right.
see that your break even is 13,944. Okay.
Right,
If you
sir.
want to make this 14k also, that is also fine. Let's say that all strikes you're making, okay, one strike will go for 14,200.
Right, sir.
Uh, okay. So let's say that you one strike you're kind of actually going for 14,200. The other strike you're going for like this thing. So your max. So this is just okay. One more strike will go for 14k. One more lot. So this is 3 lots you're trading, right? So
Right, sir.
your risk is just 10k. And
Right,
if
sir.
market drops, see other case. Uh, in this case, if market is actually dropping down
Right.
below 14k, that is from
Right.
this particular point of time, if market is actually dropping down by another 370 points, you will
Right.
start making money. Your maximum risk being just 10k. Let's say that the
Right.
market actually plunges to 13,800 as you felt. Okay.
Right, sir.
So if that is the case, then you would be actually gaining 65k by risking
Right.
just 10k. So your risk
Right.
reward becomes like 1:6 when you're buying options.
Right.
Okay.
And should I, my question is that should I stick to my bearish view since my
Mm.
concern is Singapore Nifty only as of
Okay.
this moment.
Uh,
Otherwise, I don't see any good risk because as per
fine.
my 15 minutes chart, what I have
It's
taken as
kind
a
of fine, man.
price action.
Yeah, it's kind of actually fine now, considering the fact that your risk appetite is actually kind of pretty much big. So you have
Right.
a thing of like almost a 200 point stop loss appetite you have at the point of time.
Right, sir.
Uh, if your view is still the same, you can actually stick on to the thing, stick on to the same. Now, one more way is there. Okay, Vivek, let's say one more way is there. So you feel that, okay, market is still going to fall down, but you want to protect your upside. So you're worried
Right,
that market is going to pick up. That is your concern, right? So
right,
something that can be done, you can buy a call option.
right,
Okay. You can actually maybe think about buying a call option rather than keeping a stop loss.
right, sir.
So
Got it.
per lot,
That would be great.
per lot, your risk was per lot your risk was
17,000.
17k. So that is
Yes,
200 points, right?
right, sir.
So in this particular case, like when we were actually buying options, we were just all together for all the 3 lots, we were just spending 100 points,
Right, sir.
right? So same way, like if you kind of actually sticking with the view, okay, if you're kind of, let's say that
Hmm.
you're kind of sticking with the view that market is
Hmm.
going to fall down. Do you have
Hmm.
a view market is going to be range bound?
Mm, I don't think so, sir. It can stay range bound
It
since the
can be
budget is
either
near.
bearish or it can actually fall down, right?
Yes.
That is your view. So if
Yes.
that is the case, then another thing that you can do is you have shorted the futures. Okay,
Right, sir.
you have shorted the futures. I'll just kind of show you like how you could basically buy a call also to kind of
Okay.
reduce your downside a bit.
Okay.
So let's check out futures. You're selling the futures. Okay,
Hmm.
you have shorted the Nifty futures. If it falls down, you shorted at 14,400. Let me just
Yes,
make
sir.
that also clear. So 14,400, you have actually shorted it.
Right.
Now, on the upside, let's say that you kind of have a risk appetite of 200 points. That is
Hmm.
14,600. But let's
Right.
bring it down a bit more. Let's say
Hmm.
that you want to reduce your risk. Okay.
Hmm.
Let's kind of actually think about purchasing the 14,500 call
Hmm.
option.
Okay.
Okay. So over here, you're kind of actually spending 80 points.
Right.
So basically now what happens to your maximum loss?
13,541.
So basically you kind of actually manage to reduce your maximum loss a bit more,
Right, sir.
right?
Right, sir.
So that is if the
So in
market
this
drops out.
case, only range bound would kill my option price, or else there's nothing more,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So if you buy put option, the only concern that you will have is either you will lose the premium. That is just going to be
Right,
100 points. Okay.
right,
So
sir.
you were kind of actually risking 200 points per lot. So as compared to
Right.
that, altogether for all the three lots, risking 100 points is not a big deal. Right? Because
True,
it's
sir.
going to be you are reducing your risk by six. Present risk
Right,
is
sir.
being reduced by six. Right?
Yes, sir. Definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So let's other option is like if you still have a bearish view, you want to make the most out of the view, then definitely futures you had to short, not options that you
Right.
had to buy, but futures you
Right,
have.
sir. So that's why I did it in the first place.
Okay. Now, if you
But
want
yeah.
to protect your upside, reduce your risk on the upside, the thing that you can actually do is
All
you
right.
can buy maybe a 14. So here we have gone for a 14500 CE. So you
Right.
could buy a 14, something like a 14500 CE. You could kind of do something like that.
Understood. Understood.
That could be done if you
Right, sir.
want to bring down your risk. So I'll just show you a different value also. It's kind of actually you sold at 14,000, 14,400. Let's try 14,400 now.
Would it be PE, sir?
No, 14,400 C itself.
Okay.
That is the upside you're kind of. So now basically what happens? Again, your maximum loss per lot is reduced to 9K.
All right, sir. That would be
Okay.
great.
But what happens over here? But the
Right.
problem that lies over here is your law of break even is also shifted too much.
Mhm.
Price should fall below. Yeah, it's fine. Price should fall below 14,200. You will be profitable.
Yes, sir. Definitely. And any level that you can mark if there's a gap up in
Uh,
the Nifty. So can you just give me a mark that this would be the stop loss that you should use
yeah,
in the
that is
future?
what I said, man. At this point of time,
Mhm.
14,600 looks the level. So above
Right.
that, the all-time high. See,
Right, sir.
it is just last 2 days that the market has been bearish,
Right, sir.
right? So the nearby level over here that we see. So
Mm.
the nearby level that we see over here, the obviously the near time all-time high is definitely the level. Is going to
Right, sir.
be major resistance. Okay.
Right.
Now the next point is that yeah, the price actually faces a rejection over here.
Right, sir.
Right, this could be a level. Now, if you have a look at the market structure, okay,
Right.
let's have a look at the market structure. So earlier also market actually tried to drop down like this with two big bearish candles. What happened after that? Again went
Right.
up to the all-time high. Okay.
Right.
Now, if you look at this chart of Nifty, if
Mm.
you check out from earlier, see, big drop. Many people sold out their holdings. Then market took off. Big
Right, sir.
drop, market picked up. Big drop,
Yes, sir.
market picked up. So again, a big drop, market consolidated for a while, dropped out, picked up. Okay. So
Right, sir.
these kind of candles are pretty much common. So at this point of time, I consider these two candles also similar to this candle, this candle, this candle, this candle, and all the previous candles that has actually occurred. So nothing much specific that is kind of telling me that this candle can be the time of a big correction. So
Right,
that
sir.
I will be like concerned about that only when market takes below this particular level.
Understood, sir.
So till then
And
it is all higher high, higher low formation. Only if the
right.
market structure will change only when the price comes below this particular level.
All right, sir. And last question would
Yeah.
be, if the Nifty stays range bound, should I roll over my 13,800 level if I
I won't
am
recommend
still
that.
bearish on Nifty?
So Vivek, I'm kind of I won't recommend that. Okay.
Right, sir.
So I personally won't recommend that. So see, if your view is still bearish, the
Yes,
best
sir.
that you can actually do is you can actually hedge the futures that you bought by buying
Right.
the call option. Okay. So
Right.
even if market is so right now market is at 14,371. Okay.
Right.
So now earlier your downside risk, upside risk was unlimited. Like in the sense like uh, your upside risk was unlimited the earlier case. In the sense like
Right, sir.
a 200 point stop loss you had to take,
Right, sir.
230 points, almost 230 points stop loss you had to take.
Right, sir.
If you take a 230 point stop loss, you will end up losing 17k rupees
Perfect, sir.
per lot, right?
Yes, sir.
So now on the other hand side, if you buy a 14,400 call option, okay,
Right.
now what is going to happen is your lower break even is going to be shifted to 14,276. That is from 14,371. If market drops below by 100 points, if market is
Right.
below another 100 points, you start becoming profitable. But
Right.
earlier, if 17K was your maximum loss, now your maximum loss becomes just 9K.
93. And if the market shows strength,
Yeah.
that in that case, I should exit my future and
You
keep
can exit
holding
your
my.
futures position and just ride. Let's say market becomes really bullish at that point.
Right.
Okay, if market becomes really bullish at any particular point, then you
Right,
could
sir.
actually cut out your futures position. Just hold on to the call. This call will actually
100.
generate your profits.
All right, sir. Great, great, sir. Thank you so
That,
much for this help.
that could be a hedge. Only limitation at this point of time is only
Range
limitation
bound.
is right now. Okay, you will call me bad words in one situation. I'll tell you when. Let's say that market falls down from 14,371 to 14,250. Or let's say market falls down from 14,371 to 14,300.
Right, sir.
If you were just short on futures, you would have gained 70 points. But
Right.
because you bought this 124 points, since you paid us 124 rupees as expense, as I mentioned, your break-even point is 14,276, right? Still, you will kind of end up in small loss.
Right, sir.
This is just a hedge. This is a mechanism where you can avoid keeping a stop loss.
Yes.
That is, let's say that tomorrow there is a gap up opening, and let's say that 2 days after that crash is coming, you'll make money.
Right, sir.
Okay, so
That would be
this is a
a
hedging
problem.
mechanism. Okay,
Yes.
now
But
if
then
you
my risk would be identified as 9,300 per lot. And
yeah,
that would be great.
your risk is actually being reduced by almost half.
And I get to keep my view also, right?
Yeah, you can actually stay in the position without a stop loss. Your risk is being reduced by half. One more good thing is at any particular point of time, let's say you have start getting a bullish view, you can square off your futures. You can hold on to your call.
100% good.
Okay,
Good.
fine.
Yes, sir. Totally satisfied.
Okay, man, sure. So
Thank you
this is
so much.
14,400. If you want to make it a bit more relaxed, if your view is really bearish, you want to reduce your hedge, keep it 14,500. That can be done.
Okay.
The thing over here is now your maximum loss from 17K comes down to 13K, but your break even is also less. Just
All right.
fall down by just 50 points, you're profitable.
All right. Great, sir.
So that is also another option.
Thank you so much, sir.
Sure, man. Sure. Great.
Yes.
Thank you, Vivek.
Thank you so much, Harry, sir. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye, sir. Good night.
Bye. So yeah, that was a good question that he asked. His risk appetite is too huge. Okay, so person to person will vary. Okay, so the other guy whom I know this much of risk appetite is Prasanna. Okay, he's the other guy whom I know who has this much of a risk appetite. So, anyways, how can I make strategy in Opstra? Just click on Option Strategy Builder. Okay, so guys, I guess I won't remove the doubts. Don't worry. Can I buy and sell futures on the same day? Yeah, you can do, obviously, yes. Okay, in case of gap close, market will open at 14,400, 14,500 levels after retesting at 14,600. It may swing between 14,600 and 400. If it drops 14,400, expect 14,200. Yeah, that is basically the level I'm watching out for to be active to fight. So stick by levels 14,650 is a stop loss. If he still has a bearish view, 14,500 can be set as a stop loss. My view, range bound will erode premium. Yeah, so range bound will erode premium. So this values, this break even point has been considered keeping in mind premium also. Okay. Yeah, Bank Nifty I have actually shown. See, Bank Nifty is something that is outside our hands. Okay, it can swing like anything. It's not something where we can define range and all for a week or something. So let's not get into that. Like Bank Nifty is an untamed bull. We really don't know what is happening. Does Bank Nifty influence Nifty or is the other way around? See, more than half of Nifty is Bank Nifty only. Have you seen the allocation of Nifty 50? NiftyIndices.com. See, obviously, Bank Nifty is made up. Nifty is made up of Bank Nifty only, right? So then why that question? You see that almost half of Nifty is Bank Nifty only. So guys, yeah, I guess we had a very long session today. So for the day, I guess I'll wind up. I want that, yeah, sure, Nitish, I'll do that. For the day, I'll kind of wind up. So this Reliance thing is something that I'm actually watching out for the week. So I'll also update you what is being done. Okay, what is kind of actually being done. I'll update the same also. And this is actually kind of being overnight position, swing position. So let's see. And Swapnil has actually updated some trading ideas related to uh, uh, IGL. Just check that out. I find it really good. Just have a check on that. Could we have a recap on VWAP? We'll discuss VWAP. We'll keep one more meeting on VWAP. We'll keep a live trading session this coming week itself. We'll keep not one, we'll keep more than one. So that'll clear the job. That'll do the job, I guess. That'll be the best thing to do. So yes, guys. So let's see how what the market has in store over the coming week. And so my personal thing, I lose my sleep if Nifty drops below 14,200. That is going to be a tough time for me. So let's see how it goes. Thank you. Yeah, I'll share. I'll share the recording. It's a very lengthy recording, by the way. Anyways, I'll share it as fast as possible. So I hope you guys had some good takeaways from today's meeting. And today, whatever we had discussed is kind of pure interpretation concepts. And you could use all these things. And ultimately, once again, when we looked at Fibonacci, whatever we did, ultimately we kind of realized that everything is about levels once again. No, not because of you, Vivek. Your questions were really good. So I guess I was able to demonstrate how to reduce the maximum risk by hedging. Okay. I guess I was able to do that since you asked that question, else I would never have done that. Okay. Yeah, I'll keep. So once again, like towards the end, like we kind of actually realize that everything is about levels. So Fibonacci also ultimately it's about levels only. So that is where we started. Now, how much ever we advance in the markets, whatever tools you use, whatever technical indicators you use, whatever we do, ultimately at the end of the day, it'll be all levels. Okay, so same to you, live long. Okay, so that's great. So yeah, so yeah, so let's thank Vivek also for asking that question. Okay, so yes, we'll actually catch up for some live trading sessions on the week. Okay, let's see there. Thank you. Good night.